What's up, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we're going to talk about today, by far the most requested story over the past 36 hours, and that is the Gavin Free Meg Turney situation. Gavin, you most likely know from Rooster Teeth, the very popular Slow-Mo Guys channel. Meg Turney, of course, former host of SourceFed, Rooster Teeth's The Know. She's big in cosplay. And I didn't talk about this story yesterday because I was conflicted. I didn't know if we should cover the story or if we did, how to. It's the kind of story that if you cover it the wrong way, like some outlets did, that it potentially makes the problem worse. So the news broke this weekend that Meg Turney and Gavin Free were the victims of a home invasion late last month. Reportedly, January 26, 3:40 in the morning, the couple wakes up to the sound of broken glass and a gunshot. In response to this, the two of them hide in their bedroom closet. They call police. Meanwhile, the person who broke into their home, who I'm not going to name, I'm not going to show their picture. And I'm doing that because I believe this person would have wanted their face plastered all over. They would have wanted the notoriety. But back to the main point, the guy enters the home. He's searching for Meg and Gavin. The police say they have this on security footage. He's armed with a handgun. He fires at least one round inside the house. He ends up not being able to find them. He leaves the home, and that's when police arrive. The guy was reportedly backing out of the driveway at the time. They say that he fired at police officers after being told to stop. One officer returned fire, and the guy was shot dead. Now, the reason we know this wasn't a standard breaking and entering is because of the details police have now given. Reportedly, this guy drove 11 hours from New Mexico to reach them. Police describing him as single, lonely, and disturbed. According to documents filed in court after they searched this guy's phone, they identified various notations identifying Meg Turney and Gavin Free by name. Those cell phone records reportedly showed that he had developed a fondness for Meg and very much disliked Gavin. Police writing in the court document that this guy resented Free for his lifestyle and success. The cell phone also showed what police called threatening thoughts. One recording stated, "I want Gavin Free to die alone with no children." And that's what we know as of right now. The case is still under investigation. We might get more information soon. And for the most part, Megan and Gavin have remained silent on this issue, at least very publicly. That was until yesterday when they both tweeted their thanks. Turney tweeting, "Thank y'all so much for each and every kind message today, and a special thank you to the Austin Police for their quick response that night and their ongoing support during this difficult time. Heart you guys so much." Gavin tweeting, "I just wanted to say thanks for all the support and concern regarding the recent incident. It's been a rough time for Meg and myself the last few weeks, but we are doing okay. I want to give a huge thanks to Austin Police for the amazing response time. Love you all." Now, with that said, I think one of the reasons it's important that we cover this story is so that people realize this is a real issue. It's very easy to forget. And we've talked about issues in the past where fans have gone up to people's houses, they're waiting outside, some knock on the door, some have actually trespassed while live streaming it. Hell, I've had issues in the past where people found our studio, actually walked into my room while I was filming, and since then we've upped security. I try not to tweet when I'm traveling because one of the last times that happened, someone broke into my home while my wife and my son were sleeping. Luckily, she had a weapon, called police, they responded very fast. But then separate from that, we can't forget things like Christina Grimmie's murder. It happened less than 2 years ago. Rising star, prominent YouTuber, fantastic person, shot and killed at her own meet and greet by a disturbed fan. And so if there's anything we can accomplish with this story, it's to remind people that the people that you are watching online, on your phone, on your TV, they are just people. Having their privacy and security breached shouldn't just be something that is cast off as something that just comes with the job, like I've seen in some comment sections. These are real people that have reason to fear that they will be the next person in a headline. And that's one of the reasons why, yes, it's great that you feel a connection with someone that you're watching, but you also need to understand boundaries. You can't just concede and say this is the new normal. Obviously, prep for the worst, but we shouldn't just go, yeah, that's just the way it is now. But that said, I will pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts around this situation? And then very briefly, I just want to talk about the situation with Vanessa Trump, Donald Trump Jr.'s wife yesterday. Vanessa, her daughter, a third individual were rushed to the hospital. This because they received and opened a letter that had a white substance inside of it. Reportedly, it was addressed to Donald Trump Jr. The wife handled it, handed it to the daughter. She opens the letter, there's the white substance, there's a note that reportedly reads, "You're an awful person and now you get what you deserve." They were decontaminated there, they were rushed to the hospital for examination. It was later discovered that the white substance was cornstarch. And while I found online most people to be taking this situation as serious as one should, I was also troubled by the number of people that were happy that it happened. And this is before they even found out the substance wasn't harmful. I do hope that people realize that people's politics should not play into how you feel about this situation. We're all people, and I know there's some people going like, well, it ended up just being cornstarch. Can you imagine the fear, not only that she had, but her daughter had? It's a disgusting and horrible thing for a person to do, and it's also a disgusting and horrible thing to root on on and be happy about. I mean, to the people that were cheering this on, I mean, would you have the same reaction if this happened to one of Barack Obama's daughters? That's where I'll leave that. It's just a bad situation in general, not only for what happened, but now there are gonna be people using this story and people that had what I consider outlier responses as a way to overwhelmingly label people on the left, but that's where I'm gonna end it. But from that, I wanna share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome brought to you by NordVPN. I don't know about you, but I very much care about my privacy and security when I go online. And if that is the case, you should 100% be using a VPN because they allow you to securely access a private network, share data remotely through public networks. Much like a firewall protects your data on your computer, VPNs protect it online. And some of the reasons I was excited to bring NordVPN on as a sponsor, they have over 1,000 super fast servers in 61 countries and absolutely no data logging. NordVPN's browser is lightweight, it is user-friendly, it secures your browsing in seconds. They have Android and iOS apps. You can protect up to 6 devices simultaneously with military-grade encryption, and it is risk-free. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and best of all, if you go to nordvpn.org/Phil, you can start protecting your internet experience today with 77% off a 3-year plan. And the first bit of awesome today is that we got a trailer for season 2 of Atlanta on FX. I'm personally a fan of any way we can get more Donald Glover goodness in our lives, so yes, please. Also, if you haven't seen the first season, no better time than now. Then we got a date announcement for Chris Rock's new stand-up special. We got a new trailer for the movie Rampage starring The Rock, which it looks just ludicrous. Like The Rock looked at what the Fast and Furious franchise is like now and was like, that's not over the top enough. Then we got the honest trailer for the Blade trilogy. Then we had the cast of Black Panther touching and doing some weird stuff. And if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. Then in What Are People Angry About Today news, we had people, specifically a lot of parents, angry at a CGI rabbit, specifically Peter Rabbit. Sony Pictures has been on the receiving end of a lot of outrage over a scene that has now been deemed controversial in their new film Peter Rabbit. Now, I actually watched this movie because my oldest son, who's almost 4, is now at that prime age where he can watch a full movie in a theater and not be a loud, annoying jerk. It's a new fantastic development, but I'll paint the scene for you. Peter Rabbit and his bunny family, they are at odds with a character called Mr. McGregor. During the course of the film, they hear Mr. McGregor say that he has a food allergy, that he is allergic to blackberries. Upon hearing this, Peter Rabbit kind of makes fun, like, oh, everyone's allergic to everything these days. And then later on in the film, when Mr. McGregor is trying to kill them, they slingshot a blackberry into his mouth and he has an allergic reaction. After that, McGregor turns red, he starts choking, he luckily jabs himself in the leg with an EpiPen. And oh my God, the backlash. You had allergy advocacy groups, parents of children with food allergies saying that this is disgusting. They're mocking an attack that could have been fatal in real life. The charity group Kids with Food Allergies posting a warning about the scene on Facebook, saying the scene may be disturbing to young viewers who have a food allergy. A character is intentionally attacked with his allergen, leading to anaphylaxis and the use of epinephrine. Parents should be aware of this before your children see the movie so you can talk with your children about it. KFA believes that food allergy jokes are harmful to our community. During a reaction, patients require the life-saving drug epinephrine and must go to the nearest hospital for follow-up treatment. The very real fear and anxiety that people experience during an allergic reaction, often referred to as an impending sense of doom, is a serious matter. Making light of this condition hurts our members because it encourages the public not to take the risk of allergic reactions seriously, and this cavalier attitude may make them act in ways that could put an allergic person in danger. We then saw petitions pop up calling for Sony to apologize, saying the scene was socially irresponsible. We saw the rise and use of the hashtag boycott Peter Rabbit, and following all of this outrage, in a statement, the filmmakers and Sony Pictures apologized, writing, food allergies are a serious issue. Our film should not have made light of Peter Rabbit's arch enemy Mr. McGregor being allergic to blackberries, even in a cartoonish slapstick way. We sincerely regret not being more aware and sensitive to this issue, and we truly apologize. And here's what I'll say to this whole issue. Yes, food allergies are a very serious issue. According to allergy.org, up to 15 million Americans have food allergies, including 5.9 million children under the age of 18. So just in the States, it's 1 in 13 children. Obviously, the allergies range in severity, but it's still a decent number. If we look to the news, bullying children with food allergies is a very real thing. Back in December, we had 3 teens facing criminal charges for knowingly exposing an allergic classmate to pineapple. A 14-year-old girl was accused of rubbing pineapple on her hand and then high-fiving a girl that was allergic to the fruit during lunch. In July, a 13-year-old London boy with a dairy allergy died after suffering a severe reaction to a piece of cheese allegedly forced onto him during a school break. But on the other end, the argument against this movie is either ignorant or knowingly misleading, in my opinion. Having watched the movie, I think there's 2 points to hit on. One, when Peter Rabbit kind of makes fun of everyone having allergies, he also is like, oh no, but it is a very serious issue. I don't want to get any letters, wink. And so to me, that seemed to be kind of making fun of people that say they're allergic to things without actually having gone to a doctor and the doctor going, oh yeah, you're allergic to this. In LA specifically, there's a lot of self-diagnosed celiac disease, but then also acknowledging that yes, people are actually allergic to things. And 2, at the other part of the movie where they're shooting blackberries at Mr. McGregor and they get one in his mouth, the full context of that situation is Mr. McGregor was trying to murder that whole rabbit family. During the course of the movie, he's been trying to electrocute them, blow them up with dynamite, cut their heads off with a hoe. So this is one of their only defenses from a probably probable death. So when I see people like L.M. Thomas tweeting, as a father of a son who has allergies to peanuts, milk, egg, I refuse to watch Peter Rabbit because Sony Pictures is sending a message it's okay to bully kids with allergies and making it a joke to get a few laughs. Okay, so you didn't see the movie and you're assuming? Cool. Hydro Girl 71 writing, as a mother of a toddler allergic to several foods, I am disgusted that Sony would make a joke out of flicking an allergen at a food allergic individual. Doing so is felony aggravated assault. What kind of message does that scene send to kids? Well, I guess one, if there was a message there, it would be, if someone's trying to murder you, find their weakness and take them out first. Or I guess better question, what kind of message does it send that you're complaining on the internet rather than, I don't know, maybe having a conversation with your children? And then I could continue going through the tweets, but it's all about bullying and harassing people with food allergies, which if you actually watched the movie before complaining, you would know that's not the situation. But why be informed when you can use your feelings as your facts? There you go, that was the story, that's my opinion, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And then let's talk about updates around the Rob Porter situation. We talked about Rob last Friday. He was the White House staff secretary. Two of Porter's ex-wives came out with allegations in separate articles that he was abusive. The women talking about verbal and emotional abuse as well as physical. One of the wives even sharing a photo of a black eye she said that she received from Porter. And following all of this, Porter resigned, although he said that he was innocent. But one of the biggest parts of this story has been the reaction from the White House and how some of the stories really don't seem to add up. There's one version of events we've gotten from White House officials when talking to reporters. The White House was asked for comment on a story that was about to come out. The White House press arm then talked to Porter. They then brought General Kelly in, told him there was a story with horrible allegations against Porter, one that included domestic abuse. We then see Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kelly, others respond and defend Porter. And on midday Wednesday, reportedly the White House press team said that no one had asked for Porter's resignation. And in fact, there were reports that several senior officials actually told Porter to stay and fight. And then when Porter resigned, White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, while standing at the podium, said no one asked for him to resign, but he still did. But then we also got a different version of events. One where on Tuesday, Porter tells Kelly that there's a damaging story coming out. He says that it's about allegations of verbal and emotional abuse. According to this account, Kelly says, is there any domestic abuse? Porter says no. Then after the story broke on Tuesday, Kelly realized he had been lied to, and within 40 minutes, Kelly demanded Porter's resignation. And so as you may have noticed, that timeline doesn't match up to what we saw publicly. If Kelly had realized Porter had lied to him, why would he have drafted a statement to defend him? I mean, the John Kelly quote literally reads, Rob Porter is a man of true integrity and honor, and I can't say enough good things about him. Also, seemingly not adding up, we had the budget director, Mick Mulvaney. He was on CBS's Face the Nation, and he said Porter was actually given the benefit of the doubt until those photos came out of the black eye. But those photos didn't come out till Wednesday. And also, we haven't even touched on, once again, the fact that with Porter being in his position, he would have been the recipient of a massive FBI background check. A background check that, according to Deputy Press Secretary Raj Shah last week, was still ongoing, which, if it was ongoing, could maybe explain why General Kelly had not known this information. But then today, in walks in FBI Director Christopher Wray. At a congressional hearing today, he contradicted what Raj Shah said. According to Wray, the FBI gave the White House a partial background check report on Porter in March. They then submitted a completed report in July and then fully closed the investigation in January. And we know from the ex-wives that they talked with the FBI and said that he was abusive. Also, an important note here, because I've seen some people on social media saying, like Christopher Wray is this outsider that's trying to attack Donald in the White House. To that, I would like to remind you that Christopher Wray was actually hand-selected. He was nominated by Trump. He is Trump appointed. And ultimately, we have a situation where it seems like what we're looking at, it's one of two things. You either have people that are lying or they're stupid/confused. When Raj Shah said there was an ongoing investigation, the only thing that could even be close to that appears to be that after the FBI closed the investigation back in January, FBI Director Wray says the Bureau received additional information after the file was closed and they passed that on to the White House. But that's not the investigation on Porter continuing as far as the FBI is concerned, so you're either stupid or you're knowingly misleading people. The rest of the responses, timeline, that doesn't seem to add up. The new attempt at a timeline where Kelly says you're going to resign, but at the same time was defending him in a public statement, doesn't seem to make sense. And so with all of that said, I do want to pass the question off to you. What is your takeaway from this story? Because from last week to this week, the story has seemingly evolved from this is a story about domestic abuse to this is the story about a potential cover-up and people in the White House lying to the public. And that's where I'm going to end today's show. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you got that little bell check so you get a notification when we upload these daily videos, which actually, if you did miss yesterday's show, you want to catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. Or if you're looking for something laid back, you can watch the newest behind the scenes vlog. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.